Hello and welcome to Taking You to School with Dr. Tom Prichard. I'm your host at JP Jump for the two-man power trip. Of course, joining me, the former WWE World Tag Team Champion, one of the greatest trainers ever in the history of the business, the Doctor of Desire himself, Dr. Tom Prichard. How you doing today, sir?
John, I'm doing great today. Thank you for asking. We got a bunch of crazy weather around here in Knoxville, Tennessee, though, but everything's good.
Now, first and foremost, just because it's a nice hot topic there, hello, Ibsen.
It's on.
Uh, Great hot topic right now. The Nature Boy Ric Flair, the Gainesville, Florida restaurant. Just to start us off,
Woo!
the Nature Boy, maybe inebriated. He says he wasn't. He said he was not drinking, was not drunk. He was fine. But here we go. Magazine Retriever is going to start us off hot. Ric Flair saying he's going to sue the pizzeria in Gainesville, Florida that gave him the boot after he spent $1,500 there. What did you think about that?
Now, wait a minute.
Woo.
Rick said he wasn't drinking.
He said he wasn't drunk.
Or he wasn't drunk. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. But he admits to be drinking.
Yeah, I don't think he can deny that.
Yeah, okay. Well, I don't think it's a good look for Rick. I don't think the video that I saw is not a good look. Um, but I don't know what he can get by suing the pizzeria in Gainesville. They didn't do anything except tell him he's cut off. That was it.
Yeah.
I don't think
Yeah,
you can sue somebody for that. Huh?
the video didn't seem like that bad, but it didn't seem like they were at fault at all. You know what I mean? From judging from the video.
Well, he called the guy a dickhead, you
And a
know,
dipshit. Yeah.
and a dipshit. So, I mean, it's not a good look. I don't think. He's sitting there arguing at the bar, and for whatever reason, I don't know. I don't think he can get a whole lot of money for that. I don't think he can get anything for that.
But what is Paisanos doing? You can't cut off Nate, right? You can't do that. Don't disrespect
Well, obviously you can. Obviously you can cut him off, and they did, and he got hot. So, it's one of those things you got to sometimes you just got to chill. And for whatever pissed him off, I don't know. I wasn't there, obviously, but I don't. And we weren't there, so we don't know what happened. But I don't think it's a good look for Nate.
I think he said that he basically left him $1,000 tip. You know what I mean? Crazy.
Well, that's crazy. Yeah.
I wouldn't be
You
cutting
said,
off a guy if he gave me $1,000 tip or tell him to boot, he get the boot.
well, unless you just made
I
a
have
complete asshole,
right.
you know. Then if you're being an asshole, then you get every right to be cut off.
Del Mountain, Ric Flair yelled "woo" in the face of an 87-year-old restaurant patron. That's part of why he was asked to leave.
Oh, okay. Well, that could be. You can't disturb other people. Do unto others, but leave me alone.
I feel like you can woo anybody though if you're Flair. No, even if they're 87, you're not for that.
Well, it depends if you're drunk and obnoxious. Maybe the 87-year-old guy didn't know who Rick was. I don't know.
Jason, hello to Jason.
Jason?
Hello to Barbara. She's saying, "Watch out for those tornadoes."
Yeah, it's some crazy weather supposed to happen probably about, I thought 9 o'clock, but it's coming in probably later at 10. So we had some
Barbara,
weather. Yeah, we had weather today, though. Bad.
oh, Barbara's saying it looked like Flair was cutting a promo on that fella.
He was cutting a promo. When somebody else told him he'd go outside with him.
That was a good promo. Come on, dickhead, dipshit.
Well,
Pretty
yeah,
good.
but if you wanted to stay, I don't think you can call people those names.
The only thing the restaurant is guilty is over serving Rick, says Jason. Do you agree? Was he overserved?
Well, I don't know if he's overserved or not, but it sure seemed that way. It seemed that he partook a little too much.
Do you think Ric Flair has brain damage from being punched by the Hands of Stone Ronnie Garvin? That's from ATF Media, of course.
There's a good possibility that could have happened. I think that Ronnie is definitely responsible for Rick's behavior.
I feel like those matches are undervalued, underappreciated, underrated. I love those matches between Ronnie Garvin and Ric Flair. They are tremendous.
Well, I think so too. I just think that it's a case of, do the people care about what's going on? But I thought they always had a good match, and they always were solid, and they hit pretty hard.
Rick wanted an employee to curse out their own boss for $1,000. Woo!
Well, again, you can't do that.
Rick was styling and profiling. Woo!
He was definitely doing something. Not sure what it was.
The modern day cowboy, Mitch Miller. Good evening, Mitch.
Good evening, Mitch.
Murphy, how's the new class going? Dr. Tom, it looked like you had some specimens in there this time.
We have some
Wow.
specimens, that's for sure. Probably in a test tube. New class is going great, Murphy. Thanks for asking.
Does he mean specimens like physical specimens there? Is that what he's getting at?
I don't know what he's getting at, actually. I mean, that's I think he just means they're specimens, and they're definitely specimens.
Are they like the prototypical WWE types? You know what I mean? The old school WWE type. Are they
That'd be
big?
no.
Oh,
No,
no.
they're
Okay.
not. No,
I
no,
thought that's
they're
maybe
not.
what he was getting at.
Yeah. No.
Ibsen, here we go. How was your weekend at the 80s Con in New
I had a
Jersey?
great time at the 80s Con. It was awesome. Met some new people, hung out with the Iron Sheiky Baby, the American Dream, the $1 Million Man. My God, who else was there? Jesse Ventura. Yeah, there was a lot of cosplay there. It was fun. It was great. It's awesome. The only thing that happened, man, we got delayed. I didn't get to Jersey until 4:30 in the morning.
Oh my God, Jesus.
Yeah, I didn't get back to Tennessee till 3 in the morning.
Jesus.
Yeah, it was the travel was brutal, but it was fun while I was there.
Ibsen saying, I hope you like the picture.
Love the pictures, Ibsen. Thanks.
How
Sure
was
did.
Jake? How was Jake the Snake? How was he doing?
Well, Jake was doing all right. He was sitting right next to me too. He was doing great. He was awesome. In a good mood. Seemed to be great.
Paul Shaw just watched a UWF Missy Hyatt video from 1988. Woo!
Well, okay. UWF Missy is a good Missy from 1988. That was when she
Yep.
was
In
yeah.
O'Brien. Yeah, in O'Brien.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Dr. Tom, random question here. What other Tom does Tom like best? Tom Cruise, Tom Smothers, or Tom Jones?
You know what? I think Tom Smothers and Tom Jones. I'm gonna have to pick two. Not a big Tom Cruise fan, but I like Tom Smothers and I like Tom Jones. Bill Ector was doing some karaoke. He sang good Tom Jones. A couple Tom Jones.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, sure did.
Surprised. Wow.
Yeah, I kept hearing the song and I kept hearing somebody singing out of tune. Then I realized it was Bill. Yeah.
Nice. Just want to touch on WWE Backlash for a minute here. Backlash France, the largest gate ever for an arena show in WWE history, the largest gate ever for a SmackDown in WWE history, back to back and belly to belly there. What are your thoughts on business? Just man, it keeps on rolling for
That's great. I think
WWE.
it's awesome. It's awesome with Cody as champion. I think it's awesome that they're doing great business wherever they go. It's always good to hear.
Now, another thing was that the fans were so loud and crazy that apparently, if you're in the arena, you get a thing on your phone that says the decibel level is reaching a certain point, that it's so loud that if you're exposed to it for a long period of time, you have a possibility of losing your hearing temporarily. Did you hear that or see that? That's pretty remarkable.
I did not hear that or see that, but that's awesome. I mean, I think that's great because where else can you lose your hearing with just people cheering like that? I think it's great.
I just thought that was crazy. Like, wow, that's how loud they are and how crazy they are that they're actually getting an alert in their phone that there's some place that's too loud.
Well, I mean, when you're going to an event like that, you know people are going to be excited, so you need to know that the noise level is going to be in the high decibels. But I didn't know it was that loud. But and I didn't see the French show, so
Oh, it was pretty damn good, actually. Cody Rhodes
yeah.
versus AJ Styles, about a 30-minute classic there. I thought that was a really, really strong match, really good match. But to me, the crowd kind of made the show even better because they were just so nuts. I know some people, some podcasters had mentioned that they thought the crowd was annoying, but I thought it was great because you're loud as hell. I feel like
Well,
there was a
yeah.
great crowd.
If I think it's great when you have an enthusiastic crowd and they're cheering so loud and uh, yeah, I think it pumps up the guys, it pumps up the people around you, and I think it's wonderful.
The craziness of like the business continuing because Roman Reigns is gone. Let's see how they do. Now they're doing the largest gate. Obviously, maybe the price of tickets and stuff, but still they're selling out like crazy and really, really, they're really hot right now. The
Well, it's a
WWE.
new era. It's got some exciting people in there, and they're doing so far doing everything right. So I hope it continues.
I don't know if you'll like this or not, but Cody Rhodes has a new nickname behind the
What's
scenes.
that?
The Golden Boy, they call him.
Is that right? Well,
Some
good for
people
him.
behind the scenes call him the Golden Boy. Yeah.
Yeah, good for him. He's doing a great job.
Phil, hello, Phil. Prince Spaghetti Day already. Good to see you guys.
Prince Spaghetti Day?
Interesting.
Well, I didn't know that. I, mm.
Ibsen says I took a picture of Bill after when you went up to sing in front of when he went to sing in front of you. Very funny. He'll send it to you.
Oh, okay. Great. Yeah. Yeah. I think Bill came and sang to a lot of us.
Going back to Flair, didn't Flair get tossed out of another bar a year or two ago? He tried to pick up some of the female customers who were much younger than him. Is this accurate?
I have no idea. I haven't heard that one.
Scorch, according to some sources, the pizza kitchen manager was in the restroom for over an hour battling Montezuma's revenge. He thinks that Ric Flair overreacted.
Wow. Okay. Well, I have no idea. Uh, yeah, I just saw the video and read the bit on Wrestling Inc. What they said, but I didn't hear about the Montezuma's revenge.
Flair may have overreacted.
Maybe. I mean, he's been known to overreact sometimes.
The modern day cowboy says, "Who's the best wrestler you've seen sing karaoke?" Obviously, Bill Apter would not be high on that list.
Well, I'm not saying he wasn't high on that list. He was out of tune with the Tom Jones. She's a lady. Whoa, whoa, whoa. She's a lady. I thought that was a little out of tune. But Pat Patterson sings good. Sang good karaoke.
Anybody else come to mind as a good karaoke singer?
Trying to think of who else I saw. No, nobody else. I think Pat would be the best.
Where would you rank Tommy Rich?
Well, I don't know if Tommy ever sang karaoke or not, but he could sure sing "Country Boy Can't Survive" on the way home on a car trip. Knew how to sing that one pretty good. Any Hank Jr. song.
Yeah, I was going to say little Hank Jr. there. Nice. Great
Yeah,
song.
yeah. So
Uh,
Tommy didn't necessarily officially sing karaoke, but he sang to anything that came on involving Hank.
I'm surprised you didn't say Michael P.S. Hayes.
Why would I say Michael B.S. Haynes? You ever heard him sing the national anthem?
Oh, yeah.
What do you think?
I've heard him sing
Bad
Highway to Hell.
Street, yeah,
Well,
Bad
Bad Street, but I've
Street,
heard him sing,
Atlanta, GA, Highway to Hell.
yeah, before
Or
SummerSlam 98. He was awesome. Yeah.
okay,
But
well,
Bad Street, obviously, is an awesome one. Bad Street. Atlanta, GA. Speaking of Apter here, look at this. Look at this picture.
Yeah,
There you guys
there's
are.
Will. That's
That's
right.
from
Jake's. Yeah.
that's from Ibsen.
Well, of course it is. Yeah. You had a good
And
time.
and right then and there he's singing.
I don't know what he was singing there.
Uh,
I looked up and I just heard the Tom Jones stuff and the Sweet Caroline, Neil Diamond. Oh yeah,
yep.
there was a lot of karaoke songs going on that day.
Family Tradition is Mitch Miller's go-to from Hank.
Yeah, I'll go with family tradition. I sang that once or twice.
Nice. Dr. Tom, there's a funny video of Vince Russo and Al Snow clowning on Dave Meltzer for making up the term rope work. Only Meltzer can accurately describe what rope work is.
Well, I'm not sure what rope work is actually. Do you?
I think he was talking about like in ring, but the guys that really use the ropes a lot. I think that's what he was referring to.
Well, okay. Then Vince and Al probably had a good time clowning on Dave.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm not really sure. I think he'd have to describe it exactly what he was referring to.
I think so too.
Did you hear from Dell? Did you hear about the ridiculous new lawsuit against the deceased Pat Patterson? A former referee claims that Pat Patterson sexually harassed him many years ago.
I have not heard this.
Yeah, I'm not sure about this one. Did not hear too much about this with Pat Patterson and this sexual harassment lawsuit. I don't even know who the referee is that claimed.
I don't either. I have no idea.
Man, he's been dead for a few years now, and they come out now with this.
Right. Yeah.
Kind of weird.
Kind of weird. I haven't heard anything about it.
Sam is saying climbing the rope. That's the rope work. Climbing the rope.
Climbing the rope. Okay. Going to the top rope then.
It's all about rope work. It's all about it.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
From Big Paul Shaw. Dr. Tom, tell some Buddy Landell story. Nature Boy. Woo, Buddy
Oh,
Landell.
Nature Boy's been gone too. I don't know if there's anything I can really tell or share. Nature's been gone. He's been gone for a long time. But it was a lot of fun. I'll tell you, wherever we went, I remember one time we were doing promos in Smoky Mountain, and Brian Lee was cutting a promo and kept messing up, and Buddy was making fun of him, and Brian chased him all the way out of the building, and Buddy talked him into not beating him up, saying, "But look," he said, "look, if you beat me up, who you really beat up? I ain't gonna make you tough." So he was just having fun. But Buddy could really get your ire up if you let him. But I had a lot of fun with Buddy. He was good.
I was just talking to Joel Goodhart, the old TWA promoter. He loved
Yeah.
Buddy. He was his champion and trying to bring in Buddy Rogers to feud with him and Ric Flair to feud with him. So he loved some Buddy Landell.
Well, Buddy was one of those guys who knew he was full of shit, and you knew he was full of shit. But at the same time, there was the element of truth in there that that you knew was happening. I can tell this now because Buddy's no longer with us, but I was there the night he slipped and fell in the hotel for WWE and hurt his knee. You know, so yeah, Buddy was Buddy. Always entertaining. There was always some kind of story he would come up with.
So that's not true. He didn't really hurt his knee.
Well, I don't know. Only Buddy knows for sure. But I mean, the way he fell sure didn't look like he hurt it to me. But it's not me who hurt the knee. It's Buddy who hurt the knee. So anybody listening with that lawsuit, I think that's been gone for a long time.
Also, just to throw it out there, you were managed by Paul E. Dangerously in TWA. Paul Heyman. I don't know if you remember that or not.
I do remember that. I worked with the Cheetah Kid.
How cool is that?
That was very cool. Very
TWA
cool.
put on some good shows.
Yes, it did. Sure did. I worked, I think, I worked a couple shows for him, or maybe one. I don't know.
Did the Nature Boy Buddy Landell carry a 44 Magnum?
He might have, or 357.
Big Paul Show saying 357.
I have no idea if he did or not. I never saw it.
Matthew Holland. Hey, Johnny P. and Dr. Tom.
Matthew, take the T out of Prichard and put it on your back. Go to ProWrestlingTees.com. There you go.
Nice. I like that. Did you interact with Rita Chatteron, the female referee from WWF at the show?
No, I didn't even see her at the show.
Oh, I didn't even realize she was there either.
I didn't either. I was over there. Jake was sitting next to me. Boris Zirkov was on the other side.
Oh,
Then
Boris
Boris-
Zukov. Nice.
Yeah.
That's a rare one. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely a rare
He
one.
looked good. He looked really good. And Hanson was on the other side. Scott McGee, Tony Gurria, I saw them. Arn, Tully, JJ, Barry Windham, Dean Malenko. You know, they were all there. I saw them, but there were a lot of people I didn't see.
Please ask Dr. Tom if we see wrestlers out in a bar, does he recommend sending them drinks? So if a fan sees them out, do you recommend the fan sending them a drink?
Well, I don't think anybody would mind if you sent a drink over. I know I wouldn't, but I think it's all a matter of the night's going. If you see they're over there and having a good time, and if you want to send a drink with a waitress or bartender, whatever it may be, yeah, I think that's cool.
Magazine Retriever. The name of the referee making the allegations against Pat Patterson is Matthew Robidoux. I have never heard of him. Yeah, me neither.
I never heard of him either. I have no idea.
Going back to some rope work, Frank Nordquist says, when I think of rope work, Shawn Michaels avoiding elimination at the Royal Rumble comes to mind. He really used the rope in a unique way at the time. Yeah, that would be considered good rope work. Royal Rumble
Yeah.
95. Yeah.
Probably so. I'd go with that. That makes sense.
How was Sergeant Slaughter around you then and now?
Sarge's always been cool. You know Sarge for a long time. He's always been cool.
Did you ever wrestle Sergeant Slaughter?
No.
Any funny stories of Buddy Landell and Cornette interactions in Smoky Mountain Wrestling?
No, not really. Buddy was always on his best behavior in Smoky Mountain. So he was just Buddy. He was fun to be around. He had his demons, like a lot of us, but he was fun to be around.
From Barbara, didn't Wahoo McDaniels also get kicked out of the Bennigan's for smearing his nachos on a Pac-Man machine? Ricky Morton tells that story.
Well, I wasn't in the territory at that time, so Ricky would know better than I would.
Would Ricky ever stretch the truth at all?
No.
Oh, no. Okay.
Never.
Okay. Just want to make sure. Nice.
They're always hanging from the rafters.
Yes. Did you ever work Wahoo, by the way? I'm probably asked that before.
No, never worked Wahoo either.
Damn. Maybe you're lucky. He would have chopped the hell out of you.
That's okay. I've been chopped before.
Nice. Who's the hardest hitter that you've ever been hit by?
Well, there's a fellow by the name of Danny Davis, not the referee, but Nightmare.
The Nightmare.
Yep. Yes, and he could throw a pretty mean chop. And we had many nights where both of our chests were bleeding. Why? I don't know. But I watched Gunther and Sheamus the other day. Oh my God, what a hard hitting match. They had a hell of a match.
Yeah, they have awesome chemistry together too. Yeah, they always have good matches.
Yeah, they knocked the living hell out of each other.
Did you happen to see Ilya Dragunov? Did you happen to see him?
The blonde-haired kid.
The Mad Dragon. Yeah, the Russian guy. Yep.
Yeah, no, I've seen him before, but I didn't see him the other night, no.
He is a hard hitter as well, for sure. He does this. the move called the H bomb, which is basically when Dan Henderson knocked out Michael Bisping and he was laid out. Henderson jumped on him after he was already knocked out and just like completely obliterated him. He does that move for a finish. They call it the H bomb, which is obviously what Henderson called it. But I was like, man, it's like, wow, what a move. That's
Gee,
unique.
why do they call it the H bomb?
Well, we know that.
Well, some of us don't.
Well, really the hydrogen bomb, but for Hendo, it's a Henderson bomb, the H bomb.
Oh, the H bomb. I thought we were talking halcyon here.
Oh no. You're talking the old Shawn
The
Michaels.
old H
Oh
bomb.
yeah, the H bomb gimmick. Yeah,
Yeah.
interesting. It'll knock you out. Yeah, maybe there's a double meaning there. You're right.
Maybe.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Although it is a copy of exactly what Dan Henderson used to do with the H bomb, but you make a good point there. Yeah.
I got a really good point. My hair covers most of it, though. Thanks.
Yes. Speaking of hard hitters, speaking of Ronnie Garvin, ATF back with another question. Whose outfits do you think Liberace and Elton John like more, Shawn Michaels or Macho Man Randy Savage?
Oh, good question. I'm going to have to go with Savage. I think they probably like Savages a little bit more than Sean. Although it could be wrong. Could be wrong.
How much do you think he spent on gear?
A lot. A lot. Couldn't even start to imagine.
Crazy. Scorch. I enjoyed the recent A&E biography on Sergeant Slaughter. Unfortunately, his career cost him his marriage. Other than that, it was a pretty good documentary. Did you see it?
No, I did not see it, but he's not the first one that's cost him his marriage.
Very good doc. Very good. Lot of meat on the bone for Slaughter for sure.
Yeah. Well, Slaughter had a good career.
Frank Nordquist. So there could be two guys named Danny Davis in pro wrestling, but there could not be two guys named Steve Williams. Interesting.
Well, not when one is Dr. Death. So Dr. Death had the reputation and the reputation of being a football player and wrestler from Oklahoma, and he'd already had built that up in Louisiana. So Danny Davis, Nightmare, had been wrestling in Pensacola territory, and the other Danny Davis was a referee in New York. So wasn't the same.
I wonder whatever happened to the other Steve Williams.
I think he got a job at the mini market down the street in Enid, Texas, Edna, Texas.
I think he posts videos all the time from his ranch, the Broken Skull Ranch in Vegas, hanging out with Poncho the cat, Lucky the cat, and Moolah the dog. So I think he's doing okay up there. I think.
So he named his dog Moolah.
I believe so. Yes. And
Wow.
Poncho the cat.
Okay. Well, he can name whatever he wants then.
Yeah, I think he can get away with whatever he wants.
Yeah.
Interesting point here. Did you know referee Danny Davis was a bare knuckle boxing champion in the state of Massachusetts during the 1970s, according to his own shoot interview?
I did not know that. Had no idea.
Really interesting, huh? Some guys just kind of say stuff in their shoots, but I wonder if that's actually true. Very interesting.
Well, nobody's ever exaggerated in wrestling.
Well, it's true. It's true.
Yeah.
From Ibsen, do you think we'll ever see a Dark Side of the Ring on Jim Cornette? Not saying he has skeletons in his closet, but just asking.
Yeah, I doubt it. I doubt we'll see a Dark Side of the Ring on Jim.
Speaking of Jim Cornette on Dark Side of the Ring, the Black Saturday show aired. Very good Dark Side of the Ring. I really enjoyed it. And obviously, one of the main historians was, of course, James E. Cornette, who obviously knows his stuff. One of the greatest historians out there. Did you like the episode Black Saturday, Dark Side of the Ring?
Well, I got to the middle part of it this afternoon, and then someone came in, and I had to stop it. But yeah, it was a good episode so far. I don't know how factual everybody is, and if they got their facts mixed up or not. But Bobby Simmons has been there for a long time. He was in the office during that time, and but I really enjoyed it. Yeah, there's a lot of things that'll probably come out and that nobody ever knew about. Like I didn't know uh, Ole went over and threatened to throw Jim Barnett off his balcony. So that's just the way things were done back then.
Crazy if you look at it. If Ole kind of never does that and never takes the company from Barnett, I wonder if Vince ever hires away Barnett and then gets the access to all these executives that he, obviously had no relationship with.
Well, apparently, as I've got to the story so far, Jim was siphoning money, taking a little bit more than he was letting on that they were bringing in, and Ole broke into the office and found the books and went from there. So, I think there would have to be a lot of things in play. If Jim wouldn't have done that, then Ole wouldn't have done what he did. But apparently they weren't getting paid what they thought they should get paid. With all the towns and the money coming in.
Not getting those dividend checks at the end of the year
Right,
when all the profit.
right. So I mean, if that wouldn't have happened, then who knows what history would have revealed.
Kind of crazy that he pops up on WTBS, right? Vince McMahon Jr. and Black Saturday. I mean, just what did you think at that point? Did you think that was crazy? Do you think it was going to be destined to fail?
Didn't think it was going to be destined to fail. I thought he had it sewn up, but I underestimated the power of the people and Ted Turner, who didn't like that style of wrestling and thought it was going to be a live show every Saturday, and they wanted it back. So, but times were changing, and didn't take long before they actually changed.
Barbara has a great question. I was thinking the same thing. After watching Darkseid, when did Bob Roop turn into Ole Anderson? Didn't Dick Slater leave him in a pile after he tried to soften him up? Thanks.
Uh, I think Dick left him in a pile, but yeah, Bob looked a little bit like Ole. I thought it was Ole at first. Sure
So did
did.
I. Yeah, I was like, oh my God, Bob Roop looks so much like Ole now. Crazy.
Yeah, yeah, it is crazy.
And his son Brian, actually, if you close your eyes, and he actually sounds identical to Ole, but like a younger Ole. Like sometimes when I wasn't paying attention, like, wait, they got Ole for this? I'm like, oh no, they couldn't have. And it was his son.
Right,
So his son sounds so much like him.
right. Well, that was what was his son's name?
Brian.
Well, and then Brad Anderson worked for a while too.
Yep.
So I
Yep.
thought for a minute that was Brad, but I had to realize it wasn't.
Barbara saying Bob Roop, which is what she meant, but I knew who she meant.
Yeah.
But very interesting, like all that stuff. The Briscoes kind of look like villains, just to certain people, but obviously not to Vince and not to the WWF and not to the bank account.
Well, yeah, there's three sides to every story: your side, my side, and the truth. So everybody's going to have their side to what happened and try to make themselves look good. So,
Well, if they're not getting the money they're supposed to be getting, they kind of think Ole's pulling a Barnett. You know what I mean? Like they
well, of
think
course,
that he's doing the same thing.
right? And why shouldn't they?
And why
They, I
not?
mean,
And why
yeah,
not get paid by Vince? Sell out and get
exactly,
paid by Vince.
exactly. And it did Jerry very well for a long time.
Whew. Man, he was working there forever, pretty
Yeah,
much.
yeah. So
And then
can't
and
blame
then
him.
and then the Stooges on TV, they got over huge again. When he was well into his 50s at that point, but he was treated very well there.
Yes, he was. Yes, he was.
So it kind of shows you some loyalty there. He sold it off to Vince, and Vince was loyal to him for decades.
Yeah, Vince did a good job by Jerry. I think. Yeah, like you said, for a long, long time. And who knows what would happen if Barnett would have given their dividend checks.
Very true. If the world TV champion wrestles the intercontinental champ in a match that's on TV and on this continent, who's the favorite?
Hands of Stone, Ronnie Garvin. That's my choice.
I feel like if it's on TV, it's got to be the TV champ being a favorite. I feel like.
Hmm. Well, when are they going to have a washing machine champion?
True. Was wrestling on TBS better after Crockett bought that slot that seemed like the golden era? What did you think?
I think so. I think Crockett had a great product and great talent coming in with Magnum and Rock and Roll Midnight. And once that started, yeah, I thought that was awesome. Awesome.
Do you think that they still love their wrestling on WTBS, not so much the sports entertainment?
Yeah, they wanted the wrestling. They sure did. And that was what upset everybody when they came in with that sports entertainment bullshit. And they let them know they thought it was bullshit. They didn't want that stuff in Georgia. They wanted their old school Southern wrestling. Can't blame them.
No. It was funny when they were showing like clips back and forth. They were showing like Ventura's beating up a jobber, and Wildfire Tommy Rich. They go back and he's it's like he's exploding. He's beating up Buzz Sawyer, and then it was like they were showing like the differences, but picking certain clips to
Of course.
make
Well, that's what you do when you're going to do something like that. I mean, yeah, it was a different style, different culture, different era.
I saw a good question here from Barbara. Iron Mike Sharp would work out on the stairs in arenas after the shows and often get locked in the building. Does this happen frequently?
I don't think it happens as much anymore because Mike's not with us anymore. But yeah, Mike would do this incredible workout on the stairs and steps, and I don't know how many times he got locked in the building, but I think that might have happened once. I think that might be folklore.
I was talking to Crowbar, Devin Storm, and Ace Darling, who used to basically be or they were trained by him, proteges of him. But they did agree that that did happen. I don't know if there was more than once, but they did say that that did happen. He was locked in because he like took a shower, then decided to work out, and then took another shower. Like he had OCD, so he was like constantly either cleaning himself or showering or just doing the same pattern over and over. And they said that that one, or I guess that one story is true that he did get locked in the arena.
Yeah, it could be, but I don't know if it happened more than once.
Right.
You know?
Interesting guy, Iron Mike Sharp.
Yeah,
Did you ever
interesting
wrestle Iron
guy.
Mike Sharp?
Never wrestled Iron Mike. No, but I met Iron Mike. I know Mike. Yeah, nice guy.
Nice. Remember a house show when I was a kid? He was berating my dad's friend. He was ripping him, and they were ripping each other back and forth. I said, "Wow, this guy he's not a nice guy, Iron Mike Sharp. He's kind of an a hole. Like, you know what I mean? Like, what's going on with this guy?"
Well, your dad's friend was probably given a reason to be an a hole.
Oh yeah, they were cursing each other back and forth. It was great though.
Yeah.
Well done, answer to that question, Tom. Bravo, aka
I know my audience.
the TV champ. Yes.
Sure.
Speaking of maybe some great backstage agents for WWF, any stories on Tony Garea since he was there on Saturday?
I was an agent with Tony a couple times for a week, and he was always cool to me. Some people don't care for Tony, but Tony's always been good to me. So we had a nice conversation on Saturday.
Is he or was he like the lead agent or no when he was in WWF? Was he like the guy you guys all reported to?
No,
Oh no.
but he was on. No, he was in a town though that I was an agent at, and for the week, so I worked with him.
Iron Mike Sharp, Canada's greatest athlete. Great gimmick.
Well, Brett may debate that with you.
But that was his gimmick at one point. He used to call
Yes, it
himself
was.
Canada's greatest athlete. Yes.
Yes, it
Uh
was.
oh. Uh oh. You don't want to see this, but here he is, the king of Kingsport, Bo James. Dr. Tom, how long would it take a monkey with a wooden leg to kick the seeds out of a dill pickle?
45 minutes, 23 seconds.
Is this going to be one of those things where Bo just asks the question and
I
disappears again?
have
Remember
no
he did that
idea.
before, and it
Yeah.
was like a Riddler riddle, and he never came back and didn't answer the question.
Well, we need the answer,
Yeah,
Bo.
Bo, don't go anywhere. Give us the answer.
Yeah.
How long would it take a monkey with a wooden leg to kick the seeds out of a dill pickle? Jeez, that is a real tough one.
Yeah, I don't know.
Don't go anywhere. Bo, come back. Craig, what does it say? I took years for sports, or I guess it took years for sports entertainment to get over in Calgary. They couldn't even get 1,000 fans to a show. It was dull compared to the Stampede show. So Calgary territory.
Well, that was a different style. And when WWE first came into places like that, who had that kind of rough style, I think it took a while for people to get acclimated to it because you had your old school wrestling fans too, with the Stu Hart uh, way of doing things. Yeah, it was probably very dull.
Evidently, Bret Hart had quote unquote creative control over his character as far back as 1986 when he refused a job to Tom McGee on TV. By 1997, Bret was accustomed to getting his way, hence the screw job.
Well, only Bret knows what was going on during the screw job. I mean, we saw Wrestling with Shadows. If you saw that, and you know what was said. But yeah, there's a lot of guys who have creative control. Hogan, Warrior, a lot of guys. So it's not unusual.
I love that Tom McGee story, and I love that match. By the way, that it is out there now. It's on the WWE Network. They found it. They got with the assistant of the assistant of Bret Hart and retrieved it. Great match, awesome match. But I love the story behind it. Basically, Pat Patterson and Vince are watching the match, and Vince goes, "Well, I got my next Hulk Hogan." And Pat looked at him and goes, "Wow." He's like, "I can't believe you see this in Bret." He goes, "I think he's great too. I love Bret." And then Vince goes, "No, Tom McGee."
Right.
Crazy, way
Mhm.
off. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
great
I never met
athlete though.
never met Tom McGee, but he looked great.
Yeah, look great. Could do flips off the rope and stuff. I mean, for being that big, he was athletic as hell. But
Yeah.
obviously, it's more than that in the wrestling business. You got to be able to put it together more than that.
Yeah. Too bad for Tom.
And there was another match years later against Arn. Like they gave him another chance. Like this is many years later. Like to do it again. He had a great match with Arn, and then kind of faltered again, and it didn't really pan out. So it's like he could work, I guess, if he can be carried, but that's not going to get you.
Yeah, you got to be able to carry yourself sometimes. You can't always rely on everybody, and not everybody's Bret Hart or Arn Anderson.
Yep.
So there's going to come a time when you have to lead the show.
Oh, more bad news from Bo. He doesn't know the answer. It was asked on an old Johnny Carson episode. No one could answer it. So he was trying to rely on you because it gets stuck in
I
his head
told him
from an old
40,
Johnny
45
Carson.
minutes and 32 seconds.
Oh, okay. All right. Fair
Sure.
enough.
I gave him an answer.
Damn it, Bo. Bo
That's how long
always
it
does that.
takes.
Bo always does that. He always gets these trick questions, but then he never has the answer.
Well, I don't trust him not nary a bit.
Big Paul Shaw, that whole WTBS Superstation era was the best. Nothing since could even come close.
Well, it was new and it was great and it was something special. And Tommy Rich, regardless what anybody thinks of him, he was a star. He was made a star on TBS. And for that time frame, he was a skinny kid from Georgia, but he was a superstar. Wherever he went, people knew him. It was incredible.
Former NWA World Heavyweight Champion,
Yeah,
Wildfire Tommy Rich.
something you can't take away from him. Something I can't say. A lot of people can't say, but he can. He was the NWA champion for a week, but it was the NWA champion when the NWA was something. And so, regardless, he was a star. He worked with everybody. He said he worked with the best that era, and he made whoever he stepped in the ring with. Uh, they made him look like a star, and vice versa. He had that fire. I mean, he had that fire. He had that smile. He had that look, and he could just walk into a room and you felt the presence.
Barbara, I believe Gorilla Monsoon called Iron Mike Sharp a mental midget.
Well, Gorilla could do that. He could be mean like that sometimes. Gorilla Monsoon.
Remember what he called Pat Patterson?
What's
Light,
that?
light in the loafers, he would say.
He did.
Yeah.
Well, then shame on him.
Owen Hart's birthday is this week. Did he ever pull a rib on you, Del Rey, or Jim Cornette?
He called my room in the hotel one time saying I needed to check out right now. And was give me a hard time, but I knew it was Owen because
Did you go
yeah,
along with it?
yeah, yeah. I worked with him, so I'll be out in a minute. So yeah, that's the only rib he ever pulled on me.
I love
Wasn't a
it.
bad rib. I don't think he ever pulled a rib on Del Rey or Jimmy either.
I once did that type of rib to a friend of mine, and I called him, pretended I was the front desk, and for some reason, because there was this big wedding and his mother was there too. I mean, we're older, but for some reason, he told his mother like to go down to the front desk, I guess, because he didn't want to. I said, "You didn't put a credit card on the file for your incidentals," and like just totally just. And he's like, "Okay, okay, I'll be down. I'll be down." For some reason, he sends his mom, so I waited down to see what would happen. His mom's like this older crazy lady. She went nuts on the guy at the front desk, like just. I gave you my credit card when we came in, blah, blah, just going crazy. And he's like, ma'am, I never called you. And then she
Yeah,
looked around who was laughing, and me and my buddy were laughing, and she's
well,
like,
that's not very nice playing an old lady like that. Not very
I
nice.
thought, hey, I thought he was going to come down himself. I can't believe he didn't want to do. He's like, oh, go down to the front desk. I never gave a credit card. It's like, yes, you did. Oh, it's great.
Yeah, that's not very funny.
I got that from Owen Hart.
Oh,
Gene Kiniski, by the way, from Craig, was billed as Canada's greatest athlete in the 60s and 70s.
yes, he was, and I think this was folklore too because I actually saw a match where Kaniski took his jacket off in the ring, but he always used to step outside the ring to take his jacket off. And then I heard him in an interview say one time he did that so he couldn't get attacked by his opponent, and he did it in Houston every time he came to Houston. Uh, he'd go outside the ring, take his jacket off.
Interesting. I like that. I
Yeah.
talked to Kelly Kineski, God, years ago, and he said that Gene Kineski is the forgotten legend as far as being an NWA champion. He said for some reason, Dory and Fez, I mean, all those guys get more love and Briscoe, and Gene Kineski doesn't get as much love, but he thinks he should, which I totally agree.
Well, I totally agree with that too, and that's one of the things that I think you have to have people who are historians and who really understand that. Kaninsky was the bridge between he beat Thez, right?
I believe so. I
Yeah,
believe that's
he beat Thez, and then he dropped the belt to Dory. So, and I saw Kaninsky wrestling in El Paso on TV. I saw him wrestling in Houston. And yeah, he was a big raw bone guy. And I got to wrestle Gene Kaninsky in Corpus Christi in a tag match. Gene and Kelly Kaninsky. And I forget who my partner was, but I just remember the fact that I'm in the ring with Gene Kaninsky. So very
awesome.
nice man. Very nice man.
Yeah, he's the in between. Not that he didn't. I mean, he held the title for a while too, but he was the in between Thez and Dory Funk Jr. So I mean, that's a
Yeah.
pretty big spot.
Yeah. Real big spot.
Seems like McMahon spent more focus on the spectacle at the arenas, making wrestlers into cartoon characters than actual wrestling and storyline.
Well, it seemed like it was ripe for the pickings. When you have Hulk Hogan, the Iron Sheik, and you had these larger than life cartoons, he just amplified it and came out with the action figures and all the cool stuff. So, yeah, and wrestling has always been about spectacle. So, if anybody was going to do it, he was going to do it. I mean, growing up, I didn't have action figures of wrestlers and things like that, and there became a whole generation,
Yep.
Full of toys and all that cool stuff. So, yeah, he did okay by it.
Interestingly enough, the two best historians I know, Dave Meltzer and Jim Cornette, both said without Hulk Hogan, Vince wasn't going to be the king. So interesting, which probably pisses Vince off. But yes, Hogan was a huge part of that, obviously.
Well, of course, I think they both made each other.
Yeah.
Without Hogan, there's no Vince, and without Vince, there's no Hogan.
Why do you think water is in fact wet? From Murphy.
Well, because I think the CO2 comes into the hydrogen peroxide and you mix it in your face and it becomes wet.
That's well said.
Thank you.
McMahon. Barbara saying McMahon cried when Turner signed a lot of his wrestlers, but years prior he pillaged every territory for talent and then put them all out of business.
Well, that's what those guys do. They put each other out of business, and I think they just that was the way they played.
Dr. Tom, how you doing? From Michael Rubin. How was your experience with Ole Anderson? Was he hard to get along with?
Wasn't hard to get along with me. In fact, I worked with Ole a couple times too, and he was always solid but never stiff. And yeah, Ole was great to me.
Georgia Championship Wrestling in the early 80s was incomparable. He's loving early 80s. Phil, Georgia
I agree.
Championship Wrestling. B40 says Tommy Rich was the Billy Squire of wrestling, huge from 81 to 85, then completely disappeared.
Well, he didn't disappear. He just went places you didn't see. I mean, he was in ECW, he was other places.
Yep, WCW. Yep. Bo is back. Lemuel is watching tonight. He said 32-30. He'll take obviously his word over yours, Dr. Tom.
Well, you know what? If you're going to take Lemmy's word over mine, go right ahead. But I still think it's 45-32. That's all I'm saying. Sounds like
Mitch,
that.
fair
Wow.
enough. And Brett. Wow. Best cartoon dog: Scooby Doo, Hong Kong Fooey, or Muttley?
I got to go with Scooby.
Yeah, I love Scooby.
Yeah, Scooby's all right. Scooby and Scooby snacks.
Did Bruce tell you about when Shiki suplexed Bruce on the dance floor in a hotel bar in Houston without warning?
No, I did not know that.
Bruce never makes up stories either, right? I'm guessing I'm usually
Never.
100%. Okay, just want to make sure. I figured
Yeah, of course.
that. First from Grandma Daisy, hello. And then he
Hello.
says, Test Headbangers Hall of Fame.
I'll give the Headbangers Hall of Fame. Test possibility because he was going to marry Stephanie McMahon at one time. He was in there.
I think he had a long enough run, though. Too short of a run.
Maybe.
Shane McMahon at the Yankee game yesterday. Interesting.
Good for him.
Tommy Rich still has the record for most rats in Pensacola, Florida. Wow, Barbara. Nice.
How do we get these statistics? How do
I,
we
I,
know this?
I feel like people online now, they just really delve into stuff and really focus and they get the info.
Okay.
B40 says the family secret of not losing hair, by the way. What is it? What is the Pritchard family secret?
It's an age-old family secret. Chinese family secret. Never tell anybody a secret.
Ancient Chinese secret.
Ancient
Remember?
Chinese secret. That's what it was.
Ancient Chinese secret, huh?
Yes.
Calgon. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did Skip and Zip have action figures? She doesn't recall.
No, but I'll tell you what, man. That's funny you should say that because I just had a friend of mine send me some pictures that he just made of Skip and Zip.
Oh, nice.
For somebody who ordered them. Let's see that. Let's see if we can. I don't know if we can get there.
Is that Sin Bodhi? Did he make them?
Sin Bodhi.
Nice.
Yes.
Nice. Very cool. Love that. Yeah, I don't know if Skip and Zip had figures either. I don't think so.
No.
Stephanie McMahon test angle. Dell loved it. He loved that angle.
Yeah. Wasn't bad. It was good for test.
Well, until Triple H stole her, and then Triple H got the huge.
Well, it always winds up like that. So
Murphy had dinner with Les Thatcher. Give Tommy my regards. Wow, Murphy.
Well, that was nice, Les. Very nice.
Uh-oh. From Hannibal, thoughts on Jack Swagger saying Tony Khan gets high with the AEW talent on a recent interview. Swagger was an FCW. Did you work with him there? And do you think AEW, or what do you think of AEW hardly using him? Wow, he's getting high
Well,
with the guys. Whoa.
yeah, well, that doesn't surprise me. Um, I think Swagger's, if they're not using him, it's their loss. I really do. I think because you can do something with him. Something. Put him in there. He's a big guy. He's a tough guy. So I think they should be using him.
Man, Tony Khan, if that's true, that's crazy. I can't believe he would say that in an interview, though, Jack. He's a funny guy. I guess he could say whatever he wants. Nobody's going to tell him otherwise.
Well, yeah. I mean, especially if it's true, what's he going to say? I mean, what are they going to say?
Probably not good. But let's hit the wind down here, Dr. Tom. Where can everybody get your book and even an autographed copy as well?
Well, you can go to jpwrestlingacademy.com and click the training tab at the top of the page. It'll come right up. And if you'd like an autographed copy, just Gmail me at or email me at jpwrestlingacademy@gmail.com, and we'll get you an autographed copy.
You could follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Two Man Power Trip. Follow Dr. Tom at Dr. Tom Prichard. Thank you, Jason. Thank you, Phil. Oh,
Awesome.
Barbara says, in addition, where can she get Skip and Zip action figures? Can she get them?
Well, Sinbo D just did a custom Zip and Skip action figure, so I would get in touch with Sinbo D.
What about your sweatshirt? Where can they get the sweatshirt?
Oh, that's it. That is at. I'm sorry.
Pro Wrestling Tees.
Pro Wrestling Tees. Thank God, I had a blank. ProWrestlingTees.com. Good night, Grandma Daisy.
Yes. Till next time, have a good one. Barbara, Murphy, everybody else, thank you guys out there for joining us. We'll see you right back here next week for a little Take You to School with Dr. Tom Prichard. Dr. Tom for the Hall of Fame. See you next week, folks.